Hey, aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. I'm here with Elle Cochran, State Representative, Hawaii State Representative. Grew up in Lahaina, born in Lahaina, grew up in Lahaina, survived the Lahaina fire, all of it. Ellie, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's a rough time right now.
Yeah, still. I mean, but
Mhm.
people think 2 years later we're all fixed and done and built and everything's all hunky-dory again. It's far from it. We continue to face challenges and sadness and trauma on top of our trauma. So yeah, it's still a huge challenge.
So the deaths that happened in the camp, were there any? There was three deaths. One was a 16-year-old boy that died in his sleep. One was a person just found, unknown cause, and then one was a heart attack, and that one was known. With those two other unknown deaths, has anything else been investigated about around that?
Not that I know of. So technically, this is the state temporary housing project, Kala'iola, managed by Homemade Hawaii and Department of Human Services. And, you know, to date, I've so far heard of the 4 deaths. So one happened months
Or
ago and don't haven't heard any details about that. Just someone died. I don't know, male, female, child, what I have no idea. Then the next one, it was a teenage boy, but no cause of death has ever been mentioned. And then there was another one that just so happened to have been found just through the stench of a decomposing body in a unit. And then I think at least as far as I know, the most recent that I do know because it was a church member of ours, that was natural causes. So I'm not sure exactly what, but basically the husband was sitting on the couch and said, I don't feel well. The wife went, oh, I'll go get you an aspirin or something, came back and he had passed. So that's what that one was. In the meantime, I mean, there's like another firsthand account that when Kupuna broke both her arms. I'm like, wait, how does that happen? And it was mentioned that there had been some floor changes in one of the units. And that's where an elderly woman had broke both arms. I'm like, and so you got to figure the project says, oh, she tripped on her couch. Okay. But there are these amendments to the floor design, which created a step in between a bedroom and a bathroom. And just deducing that thought, perhaps she got up in the middle of the night, or whatever, walked into the bathroom, walked back from the bathroom or something and fell. And so what's going to come up in front of you to block yourself would be your
Mhm,
arms. So that
mhm.
again, there's no determination report or anything about that. And that's just what I've heard and known. There are reports, so this will be forthcoming as investigations and things are going to happen because I'm going to make sure they happen. It's just people need to know that these units and the whole this whatever project I feel is very unsafe for our people. And most recently, one of the huge traumatic events that had happened, and this is a friend of mine, also a church member, and I'm not sure if this is retaliation because of the fact that he's friendly with me and, confides in me on things. But he had gotten a letter stating that, you're potentially going to lose your unit because you didn't get your unit through because you don't have a case manager. And he's like, what? I tried, I reached out, and no one came out or called back or helped me. So he had to do it on his own, which he's been doing for the past 2 years, is just fending for himself, basically. But now I'm like, why would you send a kupuna, lost everything in the fire, a letter like this? And as my office researched, eligibility to get a unit Kalaeola did not state that you had to get in there with a disaster case manager. So I'm questioning, why are such letters going out to people? This was never a point, of entry that you had to be. So how did he get in then? If that was a prerequisite. So just things aren't adding up on so many levels still till today. And I missed, they had a community meeting, with the people who live in the project, a meeting on Saturday. I was in Honolulu for Okinawan Festival, but I got a recap, like what happened, and basically no one really got answers. They shared these concerns about this letter, they shared concerns, and it was either no answer or, just beat around the bush and, oh, I don't know. I wasn't there. There's another meeting coming up which I want to attend. So, again, one thing,
Wow,
if you're
that's
gonna boot somebody out, what's the solution for them? Where are they gonna go? Because clearly they have no place. They lost everything in the fire. If you're gonna send such letters out, and when my office followed up with because it came from the governor's office, um, people in that office didn't even know these letters went out. They're like, who wrote that? Who did it come from? Who did it? So they were questioning their own office. So I don't, this has just been a nonstop how things have been operating. And
so
again,
it came to the governor's office and nobody in the governor's office knows where it came from?
not in that, well, it says who the emails came from and stuff, but no one really knew why or how come or why were these letters sent out. It was, I don't know who's, someone's not copying to it or what. But basically, the people who've been sent these letters deserve at least an apology. That this is not the right way to go about these things. They could have approached it in a different manner, in a lot more compassionate, caring, sensitive manner, and it definitely was not that way. It was accusational. It was because you this or that, you are at risk of losing your home. Like, it's the last thing a person who survived the fire and lost everything, their entire life in it, um, they should not receive letters like this, you know?
No, no, not at all. Not
Yeah,
especially from the
yeah,
state of Aloha. This is the state of Aloha, everybody.
yeah,
You
sure.
know, you need to bring her back. I know. I'm like, it is unbelievable. And then, so what's going on with the building permits? How many buildings have been built now? And has any businesses been built?
No businesses. As for homes, they're coming up, but it was always said, building like for like. What you had, replace what you had, but just about every single home here is at least double the size they originally were. Double the size, meaning double the occupancy, double the cars on the street, double the water usage, and we got huge water issues right now. I, I don't understand. And you have a gentleman on the ocean, yes, it's this controversial home. It was a mansion, high end, but it was there for years and no one complained about it. Now they're like, you need to, we don't want you to build, you can't put back your pool, you need to downsize, whatever. But it's like he simply wants to rebuild what was once there, like for like. And I'm looking all around. Why aren't you all pointing fingers at these other people? Granted, yes, they're families. Yeah, I want everybody home. But if you're gonna, have if you're gonna pick on somebody for building what you initially wanted, which is rebuild what you had, but not question these others, that's not fair,
No.
and that's one of my things that I don't think that's fair to pick on one person just because they have money and have built this mansion Malibu style home in Lahaina on the ocean. No one complained about it before till now, and I'm like, the guy has every right to build what he had because that's what everyone's talking about. But,
Yeah. And so the businesses, no, have businesses been given building permits at all?
no, I don't believe so, not at all. No, downtown Lahaina is not coming back, but what's super disgusting, and I would love to have footage of this, is just the block up from the main road, Front Street, are these trailer homes, but like they're just boxy, long rectangular. There's 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, I believe. They're FEMA housing, and it looks like a total concentration camp in our Lahaina historic district area. It's just it. I'm so heartbroken. It gives me. I don't even have a heart to even want to call Lahaina Lahaina or call it my home. Looking at that, if that's what Lahaina is going to turn into me, I don't even want to live here. Literally, it's just too heartbreaking. Too just it's just hard to look at. I get it, people need homes, but really, there like that, Like, and my office hasn't been getting even responses from FEMA about who are these for? What was the application process? Who's moving into these? And all
Are
they
there,
sent me back was, well, if you weren't notified about receiving one, then they're spoken for. But it's like, what? But how did that happen? You know, I'm just
are these permanent homes or temporary?
they're supposed to be temporary, but I looked at the infrastructure, man, and they're putting in some good hardcore infrastructure. So they're calling everything temporary, but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's uh, I I predict it's not going to be temporary. You know, it's just disgusting. It's really, again, I know people need homes, but there are other places they could have put these. And I get it. They're like privately owned, private properties where the owners have every right to agree to put these on their land. But I just think the state or county, everybody should have looked to other areas that aren't eyesores in the middle of Lahaina town. I mean, literally
Oh,
in the middle of Lahaina. And yet one block down, all the businesses, all those people are not allowed to build. But yet just one street up, you can throw a rock to the property that won't get permits from these whatever FEMA temporary home trailer homes. And that's
now
what
the businesses that aren't getting permitted, are they giving given a reason why? Like
they're in
why?
the
Like
high.
they have
Yeah, they're on the ocean. They're in the
that's
high tide shoreline setback. Yeah, that's why. They're on the ocean. So here's my thing. You on the ocean, build back what you had, and you sign a waiver or a disclosure saying, listen, I know I'm building in a high risk zone. I know where I'm at. I'm in an inundation zone. I'm on the ocean, sea levels rising, whatever. But I'm going to take full responsibility. Should anything happen to me, to the property and what I'm building, it's on me. Not going to come back on you, state, county, feds, to bail me out, to take care, clean up whatever that may happen in the future. But in the meantime, let me rebuild back what I had at my
yeah,
own, on my own dime, time, and at my own risk. That's how I would,
yeah.
I would go for it, man. Put your business back on the water. Hey,
Well, there's already, and the thing is there's already businesses on the water in other areas of the island.
and
It's not like
that's my other problem is that just so happens the lucky few who survived the fire just by chance are just business as usual. Yeah, you're going to tell someone next door whose fault it isn't of theirs that their business burned down. No, you can't. Well, where's the fairness here?
yeah.
And that's why I don't agree how things have been, well, lack of things moving forward. I just don't agree. And I'm heartbroken and just tourism is down because everyone's like anti-tourism sentiments, and then our labor force can't afford, have no homes, they have nowhere to live, and so businesses again can't thrive that are in place actually, in hotels or whatever. So it's just we are not in any better shape, I feel. I mean, and it looks very bleak moving forward if these FEMA trailer homes I'm seeing that are just so, I can't believe they're in the middle of our town of Lahaina.
So what about the money now? I remember our one of our last conversations that you were saying that contractors were actually walking off the jobs because they weren't getting paid, and that you were actually asking, give me invoices, let me see the money. Has anything happened with that?
No. I
You
mean,
got
I'm still asking questions and I still don't have answers. Yeah. The state, I think auditors are now doing a full investigation, but it's about, I guess, more performance audit rather than a forensics. Money, it's like, no, you need to follow the money, number one. Everything else is going to come out of all of that. But so I don't know. I mean, really, I think, you have a state auditor who works for the state, and this is a state project. So how far are they really going to dig, and implicate their own selves? So we'll see. But I think just exposure and getting the word out and just putting it everywhere will force their hand to actually, do due diligence and something. I don't know. I can't even guess anymore, you know.
Is the media sharing any of this, on Maui? Is the media talking about
You know,
what's happening?
most of the media is paid and bought, right? It's all propaganda, most of it. They're not gonna, no. I mean, if they have anything to do with the state and needing to get funding and be in the good graces, they don't want retaliation. They don't want to be cut off. They don't want to like rock the boat, you know? That's how
Yeah.
things operate around here. Everything's tied to everything. And if you have any kind of income from right decision makers and the powers that be, you're not gonna go against them and they will retaliate, as we know. And that's
Yeah.
the unfortunate part of everything. So things keep perpetuating and things never change. So I'm just, I just stick to doing my job down at that graveyard and perpetuate our culture and getting more and more people to come and learn who's there and get hands on and just help Malama and I don't know. That's one thing I know is doable and happens. But the rest of this stuff, I'm just, meetings get you more aggravated. We walk away with more questions. And I don't know. I'm just hopefully,
How are
uh,
how are the people how are the survivors doing? Do they talk to you?
well, yeah, I mean, not every single one, obviously, but the sentiment is everyone's still going through mental stress and trauma still. I mean, I feel really bad for our youth. Okay. Our youth, I mean, they're trying to focus on school. You got to look at 40% of the people who in Lahaina were of Filipino ancestry, and a lot of the parents, English is not their first language. So you got kids trying to graduate from high school or even just to attend and keep their mind on school work and things, but they have to be the adult in the house. They have to go through this really frustrating process, and if you talk to any adult who who does speak English and is trying to work through all the programs and trying to get subsidies or whatever, they're having issues. So think about a child in school trying to navigate this on behalf of their parents. This is not what they should be doing at this age. And a lot of them are saying they're going to forego college. They got to stay home. They don't have housing stability. I mean, that's already a stress. Their families are split up. And I feel really, really bad. So yeah, you see a lot of these new organized, not new, but programs, for teenage suicide, youth mental illness, programs and stuff. Here's what would cure most of this stuff for, I don't care what age you are. Housing. Get people back in their homes. Get business back so you have jobs. So our business owners are going, they're just normalcy is coming back. Economy is coming back. And I don't know what part of the state or county taxes will be back in your pockets too. We would save on all these subsidies and all these, rental assistance programs and whatever, feeding and housing. The list goes on and on. All the extras that come with taking care of people because they don't have their lives back in order yet. And
Mm.
yeah, I don't see any effort towards that end. And that's what's extremely frustrating for me because it's not that difficult. Give the
Especially
people the permits and let them get built back on
right.
their land. Now, what do we have? We got double the size homes. So, I mean, I always said this from day one. Are you dragging your ass on giving permits because there's so much water issues? The north end of West Maui is in litigation about the water issues. Granted, Mother Nature hasn't provided. Rainfall is down. But, I know that the Mahina treatment plant out north that feeds that portion, the resorts and all that area out there, has been down. So no water has been coming from that way. We have one source here in Lahaina next to Lahaina High School. So that water already has been dispersed all over, being used everywhere but Lahaina town, where technically it's all originally it was used for and where it should be going again. So I've always asked the question from day one, are you not giving permits back to Lahaina town itself? Because you're using our Lahaina water everywhere else but Lahaina? I don't know. It sure seems like it. And it's just not right, and
No.
and our state water commission says no new uses. There's all kinds of new uses, but they're using the term temporary. Again, I don't believe this temporary crap is going to be temporary at the end of the day. So now what? When our permanent people who should be already built and living in their homes and business should be going, is there going to be water left for them? Come 4 years, what are we, second year in, 3 years from now? There's already all kinds of issues with our water. So I think there's going to be issues because there already is. Yeah, I mean, there could have been a way more simpler way, more efficient and affordable way of doing everything, because billions of dollars has been expended, and yet I'm sitting here saying, no, our people have not come home. No, our business have not been rebuilt. So where's the money, auditors? Yeah, no, it's important that you follow this damn money and figure out where the hell it went, because it didn't go back to the people. It
And
didn't go back.
you're absolutely right, because it was in Bill. I remember when I was in Lahaina a year ago this month, and Ed Case was here, and he asked the mayor, "What are you going to do?" I think it was 2 billion or something. It was in the billions. What are you going to do with the billions of dollars we're going to give you? And the mayor said, "Oh, we're going to have a plan next month, which would be October a year." Billions of dollars, you guys watching, billions has been given by the federal government to the state of Hawaii to rebuild Lahaina, and still people are not back in their houses. No businesses are being rebuilt, allowed to be rebuilt. It's absolutely disgusting. I
To
have
the county. Our county got the 2.6 billion.
county of
County, not even the state. This is the county, just the county jurisdiction. The CDBG community development and block grant / disaster relief funds have been given to the county. And people are asking, well, how do I tap in? Who is this for? How's it being used? Where is it going? What, and people are like, where there's supposedly an office down the street. There's a certain person there who's focusing just on dispersing of these CDBG-DR funds, but I'm getting calls. In fact, I got a call back this family who says they've been waiting on their permit for a year. Like, that's unacceptable. Why? And they're saying water is an issue. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If you're rebuilding what you had, again, people who were here in Lahaina before fire should get first priority to water. So an answer from this county should not be to them, there's no water for you. That's why you don't get a permit. That should not be happening right now. And if that is happening, I'm going to lose it. I'll lose it more than I have. But it's just, yeah. And this is the frustration, right? And again, your term land grab, it's happening, yeah. And I don't know. I'm just still here trying to, sound the alarm and say, hey, listen, things aren't right. What's going on? And just keep asking the question. But I tell you, people don't have to answer your questions, and they don't, or very vaguely. And it's just been extremely frustrating, so I keep trying. I mean, I have people who started this conservation tree restoration initiative up on some state land here. And I just got a call from the police department asking me, do you know if they actually have state land leases? I go, no, they don't. I go, they basically went up there, got grants, and just started doing what they wrote in their grant, which is tree restoration in an area that really isn't conducive to it, does not have water. It's in the middle of a desert dry zone. And so, but above him is a rancher who's been ranching for 11 years. No issues, just minding his own business, ranching, made the roads, all this stuff. And just fast forward, this is how bad it's gotten. The people tree planting and stuff shot one of his cows, a pregnant mama cow, last night.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Well, I know. And the cow was not mama cow, just had a baby, and now she was pregnant again. Now she's dead. And I'm so sad. I'm so mad. And so I got a call from the police captain to ask me, and I said, technically, on paperwork, no, they do not. So it is illegal for them to be there. So I have talked to Chair Chang of DLNR, our Maui rep land agent, Daniel Arnellis, and basically, their thought is, but what they're doing is in line with the DLNR mission. Yeah, well, they never asked to be on the land, but they are, and we agree with what they're doing. So we're gonna have a hearing to give them land leases. That was months ago. So and I got answered to people who are like, is this how it works? You just pop up and just start doing business on state land without any permission or leases and just you'll be okay? It shouldn't be that way, but that's how it's going. And now this is it. I'm like, the, talk about liability, whatever. I mean, he could have shot a person, you know? And I'm not up there, but I'm told that the cow wasn't within the boundaries of the garden or whatever. And yeah, it's just really sad that it's turned to this, you know.
Oh my goodness. And that's here these people are up in state land. They have no permits or anything, but yet the people down in Lahaina, it's just
Oh,
all, it's,
and on top of this, it's like, how is it that you got county water trucks delivering thousands of gallons of water up there to water these plants? That technically it's not a good place to even grow this stuff. So, and is this really best priority use of our water right now, which we're having litigation out north with the water. I got a family who won't get a permit because of water. This is very unacceptable to me. Priority should be again to the families here in Lahaina, the businesses here in Lahaina. So this is the kind of crap that's been going on nonstop. It's extremely
is
frustrating.
there anything that people can do to support you? Like, is anybody we could call, complain to, talk to, write letters to?
I mean, I think it's about asking the question, holding people accountable at the end of the day, right? Like, just yeah. I mean, why aren't you dealing with the SMA shoreline setback so people can rebuild? I mean, what is your plan? I've been so one thing I've been getting meetings with different entities. Salvation Army um met with me the Zoom met me to because they have property right on Shaw Street, just up above, that the big Lahaina Shores building down there. And they said, what do you think? Does Salvation Army Services are they needed? I'm like, totally. They've been needed for day one. Oh, well, we're so afraid. We weren't sure if we should be back in Lahaina because we understand that the governor wants to eminent domain our property. I go, what? I go, you know what? Who is he to do that to you? It's your
Right,
private property. We need your services to this community. So why would he do that? Anyways, I go, if
that's
it's about the restoration of Moku'ula and the whole cultural area down there, the back of a very small portion of your property is part of the island. You could give that portion up and still build back what you had. I get it, you're in an inundation zone. It was always discussion to move them further, inland. And I had discussions with Kamehameha Schools, who's looking to do this big master plan also. And they were open to having land for Salvation Army to move further up the hill and all this stuff. But in the meantime, they got perfectly two good trailers on wheels, mobile office things that they could just wheel up on their land over here. And I'm telling you, the homeless are back. And the
yeah.
needs for this community. There was just a fire caused down at Mala boat ramp yesterday by two homeless people. The boatyard guy saw, I mean, there's people who know who did it, started the fire. Last thing we need is fire again in Lahaina. And fire department, police, everybody just let them go. Let them go. Yeah, I'm like, what? What? You just so I got phone calls about that one. And I'm inquiring with the departments, like, why would you just let people go? They created a fire and you just said, oh, okay, bye. We'll take care of your accident. It's just, I don't know what's happening, you know? So yes, they're here. They just cleared, a couple mile stretch of homeless camps Where are they gone? Where are they going? It just never, so, and then in February, not to mention in February, rents are going to kick in. The state project is all free rent right now. Everyone's living up there free. And actually, I question some of the people that are living there, because if I know if that is truly who I'm thinking they are, they didn't lose homes. So why are they living in free units when they have a home? Are they banking on that? Maybe. So rents will kick in February. Who got a job since then? Who's gonna have a job in a couple months? Nobody. There's no businesses back. How are they gonna afford anything? So probably on the streets, living in a car, living in the beach, living in the bush. I don't know where they're going. And the state doesn't have solutions either, So it's just been a non-stop. Just when you think we should have it together, no, it's not.
After 2 years. Well, tell me a little bit more about Salvation Army said the governor said he's gonna eminent domain their land. Like why would they think that? Did they get a letter? Did they?
Well, it's been the discussion about the whole restoration of Moku'ula Island, the whole capital, the royal capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom thing, which I'm sure it's a part of that. Because I heard that too. And so when they brought that up, I wouldn't let any of that stop you, you know. I'm like, it's your property. You do what you want. And your services are needed. So I recommend that you come back and start and you have trailers, or like I've been pushing, educating the community about the company called Castle Block, which is out of Hilo, that builds with, resilient, the with different instead of wood, it's metal plated. So I just think building back smarter, more resilient, obviously, and it's also truly affordable at, even with tariffs kicked in, at about 250 per square foot, versus people right now are getting quoted $1,000 per square foot to build a home in Lahaina. Yeah, it's beyond ridiculous. It's a ripoff, and it's should not be happening to our people right now, but it
That's
is.
really evil.
Yeah,
That's really evil. I
yeah.
do have still a
Because
question about the eminent domain. How did you why did you hear about this? Like, where is this stated that he's going
he
to do
said
this?
it. He was talking about that all day. When they originally did that paddle out and all that stuff when the governor came. Remember,
Mhm.
they were like hyping it all up. Oh, we're gonna restore the glory, Moku'ula, this and that. Like, dude, you even know where that is? Anyways, I don't know. So we'll see. I think, and there's a big push about all that, and that's fine. But you need to get the greater community involved in this decision making. There's way too much going on behind closed doors. There's way too much
Yeah,
going on with select handpicked people only. And number one, you better include the true lineal descendants and people of Lahaina. I mean, what? People don't like the word transplants and people who come from other places. Well, yeah, another island is also somewhere else and not Lahaina. So
mhm.
it's just, I don't know. Again, I just keep my nose to the grindstone and do what I do at the graveyard. We had 30 people from the Richardson's family, who, by the way, Marianne Shaw Richardson is the sister to Kupuna Shaw, who is the Kahu, who was the caretaker of Moku'ula Mokuhinia. And her home is where that big monstrosity condo hotel, whatever, Lahaina Shores is located. And that
It didn't.
garage that everybody talks about that's floods because there's a natural spring that feeds it, that's where her home was. She lived there and she took care of the pond and the island and all of that. And she is interred at our graveyard. And her sister, they were adopted by King Kamehameha I guess the fourth. And her family came all from Honolulu, Heia, and all these places, and just helped and cleaned and got to meet their family. And it was just a really moving, touching thing. So this is the kind of connection. I mean, we're working together and educating, perpetuating culture for direct descendants and family. And it's just the most beautiful thing, and those are the kind, and it just more and more of that is happening. And it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing, it just has everything to do with connecting family to family and getting them rooted back through their actual descendants of Lahaina, at the oldest cemetery, oldest graveyard and oldest church in existence here. And it is part of next door, Mokula Mokihinia. So there's no way anyone can move forward with that whole project without including the people who were interred in our graveyard, because that's who was once on that island. And Princess um, Poahi Bishop reinterred them to our property, is what she did. So that's who's there. And I don't know how you're going to separate the two. But yet, none of us are in any discussions with that currently. I guess maybe it's forthcoming. I don't know. Again, we just do what we do. And when that day comes, we will sit at the table together and work this all out. But I think the greater community needs to be involved. Oh, speaking of, and then I had Harry and Jeanette Weinberg, which is a nonprofit type group organization. They have quite a bit of property in Lahaina. One is a lot of commercial. So they're focusing on their commercial property, right? I mean, I said, once upon a time when Harry himself was alive, this organization was totally equated to our, you folks built for our most neediest, our lowest of income people. And now, as soon as Harry passed, I guess the brother had taken over, it just jumped right into commercial and profit. That literally did happen overnight. I remember because I was a council member. And, we would fund these projects, and it was always about social services and nonprofit-y work and stuff. And they were always at the top of the list, and they gave back and they did great work. But it just totally flipped, and it ended up being, you could tell, the numbers mattered more so than really taking care of the people. So I mentioned that to them the other day, and they said, that's what we do. We make profit on our commercial arm so we can help fund the social service type, projects. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. But that was never the focus before. And it was very successful. So this is where I learned, though, they own Old Lahaina Shopping Center, which currently there's a McDonald's on one side. They don't own that property, but there's Foodland, the building's still intact. And then where the Ulalena show was, that building is still there. And they said Luakini Street would go right through their lot. And I'm like, wait, what about Luakini Street? So I guess there's talk about extending that road. I never heard of this. I go, I really appreciate you shedding light on this, has been up for discussion. I go, but I wish the county or somebody would keep me in the loop on just thoughts and discussion about this. But this is how I have to hear about things, And I'm like, wow, are they talking to the other parts of Luakini Street and the business owners and the landowners who should probably be kept in the loop about possible decisions affecting this road? That part of it was in fact, all of it was one way. It's like, so what's the plan here? Are you going to eminent domain people's properties to widen the road so it's not one way anymore? I don't know. It's all these are like, I think should be brought to the general community about, that's, I don't know. I just keep finding out things like this just by chance, and it's just
Yep. And I think that's also synchronicity to your guides bringing you into situations like this that lighten it up, because
I
there's a lot
guess.
of corruption in the state. We know that. And but I think that this whole thing is bringing a lot of the corruption to light, and I think it's just a matter of time. And that's my hope. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's my prayer. Because I
Yeah.
mean, how dark are they gonna be able to go? It's so evil right now.
Yeah, it's truth will prevail. I know. And I know people who are doing the wrongdoing and the corruption are feeling the heat right now. And
Good.
and they should, and so should they. Because at the end of the day, it's our community and people that suffer. And it's just yeah, it's so hard.
And how people can actually go to sleep at night doing harm to other people is beyond me. Like, I cannot even fathom that. But,
Money,
that's what I was asking.
money and power. That's what all they're driven on. Doesn't matter how they get it. Doesn't matter, and
There's an evilness around that though that I think germinates. I think it germinates and grows. But Ellie, is there anything that people can do to support you, to support this work, to support this effort? Because you can give us an action and I'll put it to my list.
I mean, I think how do we hold the powers that be accountable? So this CDBG-DR funding, yeah, how can people, what are the parameters of use, or how, I don't know. I mean, just trying to find out how people can tap into that and get help, because everyone I'm talking to, they're like, they don't have a direct answer. No one's giving them like direct guidance. And my office asks questions too, and I don't, nothing's ever
People
forthcoming.
ask, you ask questions too.
I mean, rental assistance, they're bragging how they've given, I don't know, $367 million or something for rental assistance. I got people who have to, you know, squeeze blood out of turnips. I mean, they maybe got 6 months rental assistance in the last 2 years. And that was hell just trying to get that, you know? So I don't, I mean, my tenant, for example, I mean, one guy, he's like, was in the process, put in an application, blah, 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 got all the documents needed. By the time he got done, the program ran out of money. He's like, what? And I just, that's the kind of stuff. Yeah. And yet, supposedly there's, almost probably $1 billion that went to rental assistance. So I don't know. It's been, again, where is the money? That's my top question, is where is the money and where is it gone? There's this homeless camp over by the airport that were these brown tent things, and they kicked everybody out. But next door, they put up these units, these hard shelled units. And I'm like, and again, they haven't answered my question, sent a letter to Homemade Hawaii and asked, why did you kick the people out? And where did they go? Why wouldn't you put them in the units that are next door? Oh, we had to make them leave because we were taking the tents down. Yeah, but you have the other units up. Why didn't they just move in there and you remove the tents? No, I don't know. I don't know why. And that project got $14 million. Where's the 14 freaking million dollars? Still asking. I'm still asking. I'm asking still the 186 million at Kalaiola, where the main guy who's got the biggest contracts is an unlicensed contractor here. Unlicensed.
Oh my
Yet,
goodness.
and it's a state project, yet the state DCCA I took it upon myself to get their signs so I can educate the community to protect them from unlicensed contractors and things like that. Yet I look at the state and I'm like, you're not even following your own damn signs. You're got a guy who's not licensed in Hawaii, who's gotten,
Wow.
I don't know, $23 million or something. That's state, that's taxpayer dollars. That's partly donor money, but I'm sure donors didn't want something to go to something illegal,
Yeah.
and it just never ends. I don't, this is where the known 4 deaths in a fire had occurred. And just the other day, there was all kinds of ambulance and fire truck and police and everything. But my friends who live there, they couldn't quite see or figure out what happened, but something happened, obviously, with all of that showing up. So again, I don't know. This place really, someone needs to take a closer look. When I asked, was it fire? Oh, fire department sent me back a letter stating that they considered that place, they can't really enforce, I don't know, fire rules or things, because it's private property. I'm like, it's state property. It's a state project. It's not like a gated private community, dude, that runs on HOAs and CC&Rs. Like, what are you talking about? So they haven't, they haven't, yeah, explained that part to me either yet. But I'm just, I don't know if people are just making it up as they go or what, because nothing's
I'm
making
sure.
nothing's making sense. Yeah, and I
That's
hear a little bit of LA and all these other places that are going through what we are. I mean, that Katrina show is like same crap, right? Nothing changed. And the LA people are complaining the same thing we've been complaining about too. And was trying to originally reach the governor and the mayor and everybody of that town to say, listen, you can get lessons learned from Lahaina, and do things differently and more efficiently and smarter and whatever. Here's some issues we came across. Why not? You don't need to reinvent wheels here. Like, and I don't know, I haven't gotten through to anybody there either, but I'm just watching it going, well, yeah, there you go. Could have told you that was going to happen, and you could have done something, you could have done it differently, but didn't. So,
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel your frustration, and I'm all about actions. Like, maybe if you think of something, email me, like who to contact, what to, like, just a verbiage of what to say if we contact them, because numbers matter. I think people, the more people that get on them and harp on them, that's what you just, when you just said they're feeling the heat, they need to
yeah,
feel even more.
more. I think water. I think probably Seaworm, Commission on Water Resource Management, needs people to say what what is going on with the water. How are you prioritizing the water? So I agree with the part of the litigation. The richest man in Japan is suing Maui Land and Pine right now. He's taking the company to court because they're doing cutbacks on the water source out there. And the main ditch system is managed by, well, Hawaii Water Service, but Maui Land and Pine basically for decades, for generations. And so he's suing them for lack of maintenance on the ditch system. I totally agree 100 billion% on that. I live in Honolulu Valley. I know they have not been maintaining that ditch since like Fleming himself and Cameron's left that company. Literally, they have not been maintaining and the ditch system. So the ditch system has leakage. This ditch system is falling apart. There's root intrusion. No, it's not carrying the full capacity of water that it should be, due to the lack of maintenance and upgrades and whatever that the company could have done. They have not. So I agree with that part. What I don't agree with, and I didn't say this to them because I did email their attorney to say, hey, listen, I agree with that point. But I don't agree that golf courses should be a priority for water use. Not in agreement with that part.
No, not right now.
Water use should be for, for feeding us, for housing us, for things. So, but I don't completely agree with that. But it just so happens I'm driving to the other side and HPR comes on, and here's the guy who's part owner in the golf course. He's talking about, the state just wants to shut us down, cut us back on water, which yes, they have every right to, and yes, we need to do it. But he goes, but no one's talking about solutions. I'm like, okay, hey, I hear you, man. That's right. We understand that we can't get as much water as we always were and need, but let's just share the pain here, but let's figure out solutions. So he, basically was saying, if we can just bump up to a certain percentage of water, not the 100%, but a certain amount, they can maintain their courses good enough to where they can continue to hold the Century tournament, the golf tournament that happens in January, which gives back all this charity money to our county, which is helpful, right? And all that stuff. But it's
Yeah.
golf and it's tourism and all that. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds reasonable, for X amount of months to get the greens back on, good enough to play. And he was saying, when you look at old back in the day in London and Scotland, wherever they do all this golfing, they played on brown grass, on not lush green, it was brown. And he goes, and it makes it even more challenging when it's, not all, or easier to play golf, I guess, because it's flatter and rolls. I don't know. So I'm like, all right, he's talking, he's giving some and sort of trying to balance it out. But he goes, but no one's really discussing anything like this. So I wanted to call him and say, listen, I hear you. And yeah, let's be solution oriented, because at the end of the day, we did put all our eggs in the tourism basket. And, you want to get rid of it, but what's the alternative right now? And I would love to see ag tourism. Let's feed ourselves, food security, and that's job creations and all that stuff, right? But no one's focusing on that. You just want to get rid of tourism, shut down all the short-term rentals and whatever, which I never supported to begin with, but there was a smart way to do that also, but that never happened. And so you can't just cut it off now, because there we are. We got people who can't survive anymore with the trauma of the fire, and now you're just cutting off their bloodline, which is tourism. What? How's that supposed to help anybody right now? You know,
Yep.
it's just, to me, nothing is. And then I don't know. I didn't even read the post, or I don't know what it was, but it was about the mayor saying release all the waters back into the streams. But we don't have water going into our water treatment plant for all of us to shower with, to cook with, to do what? I mean, hello, again, where's the balance and the common sense here? You know? And the other thing that the state and what private whatever companies need to do with the water is, when we have heavy rainstorm events, we need to capture that rather than just let it run off into the ocean. I get we want Mauka to Makai flow, but we need to capture that stuff and
Yeah.
save it in reservoirs, right? For use when things are down and low and all that. So I don't, the granted, I don't agree with plantation and what they did. Monocropping diverted our streams. We should have 33 free flowing streams here in West Maui, but we got like 2, maybe 3. I don't agree. But the point is, they did build a very efficient system in the sense, well, if you maintain and keep it going, the ditch system and then the irrigation of the fields and stuff, it was all lush and green. These mountainsides were not dead and brown and fire hazards like you see today, right? They were lush green. It was cane. Not that that's the best way of but the point is, there was enough water to go around to grow. You replace that cane with stuff we eat. Why not? And they had yes, they had some wells, but they used the irrigation, ditch system and reservoirs. They captured the water, so they had it for
That's
future
the way to
use.
do it. You have to catching the water is the way to go, especially especially in
Hello? Yeah, you catch what you can, man. And it's like, but that's not what's happening. So now it's like, release everything when you have excess. Like, no, why? So here we are. And I just think number one priority for water use, and I think that's where the public can demand CWRM to whatever they got to adjust or rewrite or whatever, to make sure that water is prioritized for, for us, the people.
yeah.
And and you reinstate reservoirs, you recommission these reservoirs that are in place. And it was because of money. The reservoirs, the people who own them, Peter Martin bought a bunch of land after Pioneer Mill, and the state owned, county owned, they didn't want to fund it. And that's why they just decommissioned them all. So to me, those efforts would have prevented our water shortage that we have today. Part of it, I mean, it's not a cure-all, obviously not, but it definitely could help.
It would
And
have
at
helped.
this point, yeah, and at this point, the salinity of our well water, our aquifer, is at the 2,000-foot level. So when the county or state, whoever, keeps saying they're just going to keep digging holes and sticking more straws into the aquifer as wells, does not make sense. Because whatever you pull up is brackish and salt. So we're not going to drink that, and a treatment plant's not going to clean it. So we're all going to have to turn to desal. I think that is the future, because of just the rate. Yeah, where the water has to come from, and the condition of the quality of the water is salt. You're gonna have to desal that in order to be usable, and that's expensive.
Yeah.
So again, not just look at right
Somebody
here.
out there,
Yeah.
and maybe somebody out there's an inventor that can do it cheaply. And if you can, contact me, because
Yeah.
I do, there are systems out there that we don't know about yet.
Do you have the air to water stuff, the atmospheric stuff? Because there's a company called Altitude Water. They've been here in Hawaii. I just recently reached back out to them to talk about getting a unit from them. And that's what it does. It brings the moisture, the humidity out of the air and works through the system, and it creates actually pure water. And it's like
Oh my gosh, well, we have
ionic.
plenty of
Yeah,
water here.
whatever filtered, so it comes out even purer than what's in your tap, because what's in our tap, the county loves to just dump chlorine out all over it. So, it supposedly works. I haven't technically, physically, I know a couple of people who have them, but I never really saw them yet. I know there's a soccer club or something in Hilo or Paho or someone that did buy some units there. So I know they have them active in the state. They're on the pricey side. My air condition broke down, so I'm like, I need air over water right now because Lahaina's so friggin' hot. I'm like, I can't live in this house without it. I'm sorry, but I got to replace that first, and then I'll talk about getting one of these units. But I'm at the point where I just want to be off the grid. I mean,
Yep.
Spectrum is now charging over $200 for your cable and Wi-Fi. I'm like, I don't know, should I just buy a Starlink? I mean, I don't want to be tied to these corporations anymore because they just jack your shit up to where it's
They do.
unaffordable. And your
And
service ain't that great, you know?
it's gonna keep
And it's never
yep,
gonna go down. When are they ever gonna go down? It's just
never.
I'm at yeah. I mean, my one friend called her Spectrum bill is 256. She's a single person on fixed retirement fund and it's $256. I'm like, "Oh my God. This is
And
you're
maybe people, I mean, maybe people need to get offline and stop watching television so much and get back into nature. Get back into
that too.
because
Maybe it'd be good for us all to unplug.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know? I
yep.
mean, I love watching my Netflix, and if I want to watch funny and get, it is entertainment and it does get your brain off of the whole,
I
so I
get it.
enjoy it, but I just watched the episodes of Run Around. That was so cute. I always, one of my dreams is to be a rock star. So, that show just now, these kids from high school become rock stars. But anyhow, just, it's fun. It's entertaining. Takes my mind off the sadness and
I get it. Yeah, we have to have a little downtime as well. Well, let's do a quick prayer for where we're at and call in the infinite creator. Infinite creator. Wow. This is such a journey right now. We know that you're holding Lahaina in light right now. There is a lot of darkness, a lot of things that are going on over there that's just not Pono, Great Spirit, and we know that that is coming to light. We call that forth now. We call forth that anyone who can make a difference in Lahaina in the permitting process, in doing what's right with the water, that their hearts be turned to doing that, that they be courageous enough to step forward to make a stand for the people. Great Spirit, we just call forth that all angels, all guides are in Lahaina right now, sending those people hope that things can get better for them, that they can return to their homes. Great Spirit, we bind anybody right now. We bind them with the Christ consciousness of unconditional love, with the spirit of aloha, that they be bound from doing any more harm, and that their hearts be turned to doing what is right. Great Spirit, we see that Lahaina right now can be the example. It can turn around. We see people back in their homes. We see permitting easily done. We see contractors being paid. We see the truth about what is happening with the money. And we see that rectified, Great Spirit. We don't know how it's going to happen. We absolutely have no clue. But through you, Great Spirit, through the infinite powers that you are, you're moving the sun across the sky, you're running the tides in the ocean. You are making this happen. We call it forth right now. We call forth truth. We call forth life, light, and life right now in Lahaina, in LA, and in other places around the world that have been attacked like this, because I truly believe that it was attacked, Great Spirit. We know that it is done. We send Ellie so much mahalo nui loa, so much mahalo. And we know that she is always guided, that she is always protected, that anything that she needs shows up easily. And we have guides around her and angels around her just to give her a light on her path, Great Spirit, because she is not alone. She is not, never, never alone. Great Spirit, we know that this is done, and so it is.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Mahalo.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time and looking forward to the show. Hopefully Marshall feels better so we can
Oh,
talk.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Justice in America. Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
It will happen. It'll happen. It
Cool.
always will.
Sounds good. I'm excited for Louis Herms too, going for it in California.
Yeah, yep, screw Big Gov. He's working on being a governor. That
I
he's
know.
governor of Hawaii.
Oh,
I,
I want to get out of this. I don't know. Yeah,
I know it's a hard one, but
hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
amazing. That would be absolutely incredible. So
Uh,
anyway, just a little seed
anyways,
planted. We'll
yeah.
see.
All
All right, you
right.
guys.
Okay, you take care now. Be
You.
well. Okay, bye.